quick video about changing brake pads. If you want to know how to change cables, look back at our old videos that we've done in the past and you'll see there's a section there on how to do it with the cables and the brake pads as well. But today I'm going to concentrate on just doing the brake pads themselves. So we're going to be working on a rather common V-brake today. And why would you want to change just the brake pads? Well, brake pads wear, they're friction material, they sacrifice their lives in order to save yours. And how do you know if they're worn? Well, if you look at these brake pads I've got here, you'll see the visual difference. So there's a wear line on this pad. As you can see there, that one is more or less touching the wear line, so that one's past its sell by date, that one's done and dusted. So we're going to change the pads over. So what will we need to do this? We'll need some Allen keys. We may need a Phillips screwdriver, and some of you guys may need a 10mm spanner depending on the brake setup of your bike. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to knock all the adjustment off the brake cable, because as the brakes wear, what we do is we wind this out to keep the brake travel correct. So we're going to wind this back in to give us the most amount of adjustment on the brakes again. Hopefully we'll be able to squeeze some new pads in there without having to disconnect the cable. So I'm going to wind that right in, and then I'm just going to disconnect this cable just by popping the V-brake noodle out, and the pads will open like that. Now you'll notice there's nothing wrong with these pads. This is a demonstration bike, so we're just going to fit some new pads to it. So I know on this bike it's a 5mm, and I'm just going to slacken that off. And what I'm going to try and do is keep these bolts and washers and spacers and all that sort of stuff in the order that they're in at the moment. And I'm going to do that by taking it off like so, and then I can drop them back on again. And the reason I've done that is that if for some reason out of the 4 brake pads that I'll have for this job, 2 old ones and 2 new ones, I drop them, I'll be able to work out what the order is. Now I'm going to go through the order with you very shortly, but I'm just going to take these ones off for the time being. Now there's no certainty, especially if your bike's used, that these will be in the correct order, but the ones that you buy will be. So this is the order here. I've laid them out on the table, and if you look on here, this is the order that they're in. So we've got the nut, we've got a small washer, we've got a large, like a bowl washer, and then a tapered one, then another tapered one, and then a large bowl washer again. So there's the order there. And what we do is we separate the tapered washers. So those two, on these pads, they're quite conveniently gold. So we're going to separate those two, and that's where the brake arm's going to be. So we're going to take these ones off, we're going to put the brake pad on, and then we're going to put those ones back on again. And again, if they were to fall off, we've got another brake pad there, and we've got the 2 old ones there to look at. So all I'm going to do, again, I'm going to try to get this all off in one go, which will leave like the large bowl washer and the tapered washer on. And then I'm going to pop them on, and we've got the small taper, the tapered washer, the non-washer, and the nut on there. And that's going to go, all being well, on there. I didn't drop it. Then to get these lined up, what we do is we pop that on the wheel, and we just line the pad so that it's nice and flat against the rim. Those tapered washers and the bowl washers are designed to allow the brake pad to slightly adjust its angle according to how wide your rim is, the position of your brake, that sort of thing. And it also allows you to slightly adjust the brake so that they can like toe in or toe out, depending on your preference. I'm just going to put these so that they're just flat. So as you can see there, the brake pad's nice and flat against the rim, and I've just nipped that up for now. I'll do the same again on the other side. Again, separating those 2 gold tapered washers, and just leaving those 2 on. Pop that on there. And that's on by hand. And again, you'll notice the pad's curved, so the pad follows the shape of the wheel. So it doesn't go on that way, it goes on like that because it follows the curve of the wheel. I'm going to pop that. Again, line it just with the braking surface so it's not touching the tyre and it's not hanging off the bottom. And again, just a little nip there. We can pop the cable back on. Now as you can see, that's not quite balanced. Can you see how that one's moving more than the other? but there's a little bit too much travel on that as well. So it's somewhere near. Obviously the brakes have been adjusted as they've worn. As the brakes wear, you adjust this to bring a little bit more cable through. So what we'll do first is, I did mention that you may need a Phillips screwdriver. What we're going to do is just going to balance that off. So this one's doing more work, so it's got more tension. So we can give this one a little bit more tension. You saw the brake move over slightly. And what we can do is we can knock a little bit off this one as well. Actually, there's not a lot on that one at all, so we'll put a bit more on this one. It's getting there, isn't it? There we go.
Oh, there you go.
So a little bit more. I'm happy with that. That's a lot better. And the travel on the brake lever, yeah, that's somewhere near. I think I'd be happy with that. You could put a bit more on if you wanted it. A bit less travel, you could wind that on if you wanted to. But I think I like a little bit of modulation, so I think that's pretty good. It's not catching. So the only thing left to do now is just to make sure that's tight. So I always pull the brake on. I put my thumb on that brake pad there to make sure it doesn't move, and I just give it a little nip. And the same again on this side. Pull the brake on, finger under there, just stop it from moving. Give it a little nip. And that's it, we're done. How long did that take?
6 minutes and 40 seconds.
So there you go, you should be able to do your brake pads in roughly about 10 minutes. So I hope that was helpful to you. The same procedure would apply to the rear if you had the same setup on the rear brakes as well. Thanks for watching, stay safe, see you again soon. Bye for now.